This presentation will detail a number of pathways of becoming a user at SSRL, proposal types, guidelines, deadlines, and submission information, as well as what to expect after submitting a proposal. An active proposal is required in order to pursue Beam Time at SSRL. SSRL staff are available to help with any questions you may have regarding proposals and becoming a user. Contact information will be available at the end of the presentation. A subset of the beamlines at SSRL are funded by the Department of Energy's Biological and Environmental Research Program. We call this group of beamlines the Structural Molecular Biology, or SMB resource, highlighted by the schematic of SSRL. Four main capabilities make up the SMB resource at SSRL, including macromolecular crystallography, small angle X-ray scattering, X-ray absorption spectroscopy, and X-ray fluorescence imaging. For the purposes of this presentation, I will focus on proposal information for our XAS and XRF beamlines. It is important to note that the XRF beamlines also have spectroscopy capabilities. Detailed information on the individual beamline capabilities can be found at the SMB resource website. The SMB resource website not only details the technique and specific capability of each beamline, but also provides recent science highlights, event information, and importantly, new general user proposal deadlines and beam time request deadlines. I'll go over exactly what these are in a few slides. There are three possible routes to becoming a user at SSRL. The first pathway is to collaborate with a colleague that already has an active proposal at SSRL. Any collaborators that are new users will need to register, do the appropriate training and badging before being allowed on site. This route can be particularly helpful to those that have never been to a national lab, user facility, or particularly a synchrotron facility. Seeing beamlines, sample preparation and sample mounting, and the data collection can be helpful to novice users that want to submit their own proposal in the future. The second pathway is a rapid access proposal. A rapid access proposal is a short proposal requesting only a few shifts of beam time, and ultimately requires a strong justification. This type of proposal can be used for proof of concept, such as testing out novel samples on a beamline, or perhaps acquiring a final data set for a student to graduate. The final route to becoming a user at SSRL, and the route that we hope most of our users end up taking, is a general user proposal, or a GUP as I will sometimes refer to it. A GUP is a longer 3-page proposal and may include some preliminary data, for example from rapid access beam time. If the proposal receives a good rating, the proposal is eligible to request beam time 3 times per year for as long as the proposal is active. Proposals are active for 2 years, and in some cases, they may be eligible for a 1-year extension. The time frame between proposal submission and first beam time may take 5 to 8 months. For the remainder of the talk, I will detail more about what is included in rapid access and general user proposals, where to submit the proposals, and what to expect after submission. Like I mentioned, a rapid access proposal must be short, approximately 1 page, clear and concise. A rapid access proposal must have a strong justification as to why you are opting for this route over a general user proposal, such as novel methodologies or difficult samples. Rapid access proposals are intended to have a quick turnaround between the date of proposal submission and the date of beam time, and that the allocated beam time is short and one-off. This quick turnaround is so that users can get a small amount of data or preliminary data that is required for either a publication, a student's dissertation, or a full GUP. There is no strict deadline to submit a rapid access proposal. Rapid access proposals can be submitted at any time during the year. A general user proposal should be submitted for synchrotron experiments that have a large sample set and/or multiple questions to address, a high chance of success, and are likely to produce publications. The success of an experiment can be shown by rapid access data, publications that resulted from previous GUPs, and the expertise of the collaborative team. At this point, I should mention that SSRL staff and postdocs can be co-PIs or collaborators on user proposals. Compared to the rapid access proposal, there is a longer time frame between proposal submission and first scheduled beam time. However, users will end up with a much greater number of shifts with a GUP. A GUP provides users the ability to collect datasets on a number of samples through 3 beam time requests a year within a 2-year period. General user proposals have a clear format to follow with recommended subsections. Users should state clear hypotheses and state specific questions that will be answered with the synchrotron techniques. Be clear which technique and which beamline you will use. Users can propose to use multiple beamlines of the same technique within the SMB resource, where the beamline capabilities slightly differ, but users collect complementary data. Lastly, if you have collected rapid access data, be sure to include the results within the GUP, which will show the synchrotron experiment will be successful. There are 3 deadlines per year for GUP submissions: May 1st, August 1st, and November 1st. GUPs will be eligible to submit beam time requests approximately 5 to 6 months after these dates. Guidelines for proposals can be found on the SSRL website, along with deadlines and information on submitting proposals. SSRL staff are a good resource when planning, writing, and submitting proposals. If you require help or need to ask questions, be sure to get in touch well in advance of the general user proposal deadlines. So far, I have not mentioned the proposal review process. All proposals go through a standard peer review. Together, reviewer comments and user responses will be considered by a proposal review panel before a final rating and recommended number of shifts are given. The SSRL rating system goes from 1.0 at the highest possible score to a 5.0 at the lowest possible score. In the proposal and during the submission process, you will have to request a total number of shifts, and you will need to justify why you are requesting that number. For example, based on the number of samples, the difficulty of the experiment, etc. Based on reviewer comments and the review panel assessment, you will be given a recommended number of shifts for the lifetime of the GUP. In order to submit a proposal to SSRL, you will need to be a registered user. If you have collaborated on a proposal or reviewed a proposal, you will already have a registered account in the user portal. If not, the registration process is relatively straightforward and can be found on the Slack user portal website. If you have any questions about registration, you can contact any of the staff taking part in this workshop or staff within our user office who will put you in touch with the best beamline or staff scientist to help you. My role at SSRL is to help guide new users through any stage of the process of becoming a user, so please also feel free to reach out to me with any questions. Sharon, who gave a talk this morning, is a great contact for questions and proposals related to this workshop. Detailed contact information will be provided in a few slides. Once you are a registered user and you can access your user portal, you can view training, submit proposals, find proposal and beam time request deadlines, and submit beam time or support requests. The user portal will open on the following page, and here you can see if you have any new trainings or trainings that have expired. Within the SSRL tab, you will see proposal and beam time request deadlines here and here. Select the proposal drop-down menu to submit new rapid access or general user proposals. In the page that opens up, you can see the 2 different proposal types we have discussed. And this top option, the X-ray/VUV standard proposal, is the GUP. A reminder again that the X-ray microprobe beamlines also have spectroscopic capabilities. From here, you will be required to choose the relevant proposal review panel, load an abstract and the proposal, and submit safety information on the samples. Again, SSRL staff can help to guide you through the proposal submission process, but always get in touch well in advance of the GUP deadline. This schematic shows the steps between submitting a proposal and your allocated beam time at SSRL. Whether you submit a GUP or rapid access, you will be given the opportunity to respond to reviewers before the final rating and shifts are given. In order to have beam time scheduled, you must submit a beam time request. Please note that SSRL do not reach out to you to schedule your proposal. Instead, it is up to the users to submit a beam time request up to 3 times per year according to the deadlines. In the case that you propose to choose multiple beamlines, you should submit separate beam time requests. A side note here is that generally, XAS and XRF users are on site for the duration of their beam time. Users are taught how to load samples and operate the beamline when their experiment time begins. During the pandemic, we are operating with remote access operations, and so aspects of scheduling, mailing samples, and requesting remote access to the beamlines may differ. If you wish to submit a GUP for the May 1st deadline, please reach out to us to discuss how the different beamlines are operating within the sample mail-in and remote user operations. New users are encouraged to get in touch with beamline staff prior to arrival for the experiment time. It is important for the beamline staff to know in advance of anything unique about your samples or experimental setup so that they can be prepared and help to advise you on data collection. As a reminder, you must go through this process in order to collect any data at SSRL. The lead contact for new environmental users looking to combine spectroscopy and theory is Sharon Bone. Sharon is a beamline scientist at SSRL and provides user support to our microprobe beamlines, with a particular focus on the application of spectroscopy and chemical imaging for environmental research. Additional contacts include Riti and Jocelyn, who are both working to increase the number of user groups within biological and environmental research at SSRL. Jocelyn is a dedicated DOE BER postdoc to aid interested and new users in understanding how capabilities at SSRL can help their research, provide proposal, data collection and data processing support, and to provide guidance on collaborations with SSRL staff. Please do not hesitate to reach out to any of us if you have questions following the workshop. In addition, we have material, including videos, that new users can review to learn data collection and data processing. Lastly, I mentioned that the S&B resource at SSRL is a DOE BER user facility. DOE BER offers funding to researchers at both private institutions and national labs. To find out more information on current funding opportunities, please visit the Department of Energy's Office of Science website. Check back regularly as new calls with differing fields of research are often added. I hope that the information in this talk has helped you to understand the process of becoming a user at SSRL and that help is available to you. Thank you for your attention. This talk will be available as a recording at the end of the workshop.